My name's Steve Wilson. I'm a naturopath in Grand Junction, Colorado, and I want to present to you kind of life story as far as I'm concerned. This picture that you're looking at is probably going to depict how so many of us feel about different ideas, different concepts. What you're seeing is a king that's about ready to fight a war, and he doesn't have time to listen to a salesman who's got a machine gun. And as you see in the picture, that's kind of where we are today. We are hesitant to listen to new ideas. We've been beat up over the years, and therefore something like this you need to pay attention to, because what we're at war with is a host of things, starting with obesity, starting with diabetes, cardiovascular issues, viral issues now are becoming quite pronounced. We need to incorporate into our toolbox as many things as we can to fight this carnage, if you will. So I want to tell a story about a friend of mine, and particularly in a kind of a Hebrew way. The word Nakash is very interesting in that it first means serpent, but really what it has to talk about is simply, I got to learn from experience. Well, now, the picture that you're looking at is a friend of mine. Started in college in Greeley, got his master's degree in special ed, and you can see from the description that he has, he's got this puppy, he's got his long hair, and he was an athlete in New Jersey. And all at once, he's told me that he ate just the way the kids did. And from that, you'd see a picture of disease. And then all at once, he started to be quite concerned about this, retired from the world of education, and he and I traveled to Israel a couple of years ago. But in that conversation, we decided to take a position of changing diet. This is a man that now hikes with me in the Colorado National Monument. Now, he's not as fast, but I'll tell you, it's a place that he has never dreamt of going. There was a tipping point in his life, and it came with a kind of a sour possibility that if he didn't change, he was in fact going to die. So you can either live by experience, or by golly, you can live by instructions. Biochemical laws of the body, if we meet those, return to those principles that we once had, and you'd be surprised at how much happier you will be. Look at the statistics that we currently are dealing with. Right now in America, we're dealing with huge issues with cardiovascular problems, cancer problems, obesity, diabetes. In fact, if you're not careful, you can find yourself falling in one of these, and we want to suggest that it could be diet. In fact, if you eat improperly, if you eat foods that are dead, the next thing you know is you'll come down with some kind of a disease. Based on what you eat, you will create an environment for disease to live and thrive in, and it will soon take a place that you don't want in your life. With that said, taking from Isaiah 56, there's a very interesting phrase that says, declaring out of the beginning the end. And I would like to take you into that thought that we can really pretty much declare based on how you try to buy energy for your own body if you're going to come down with certain diseases. There is an issue right now called metabolic syndrome X. And around that, there's a host of problems that seem to thrive with the incidence of insulin. That insulin has got to be there because of a problem, and it seems to be sugar. I want to take you to where I've begun to think over the years, and we have a man's plan. And it's one thing to work in a scenario, if you will, where you really don't know what you're talking about, and you're learning from experience. We want to take you back to a very beginning called the seed. And it's within the involvement of the seed, how quality is a seed, because you see, that's where the DNA is. If you plant the seed in really good soil, then you are going to develop really strong, efficient foods. Then it becomes a harvest, and then the processing of getting it to you and I. And it's within that thinking that Americans, because of the lineal language that they've chosen to learn, which is the Greek and the Latin. We've begun to change the language, and the next thing you know, what used to be a solid thought now has evolved into an entirely different meaning for a word. We're coming from my background, a Hebrew background. It's cyclical, so the seed begets the fruit begets the seed, and we want to keep that structure going to where you get absolutely the finest food that you can. Not only emotional food, spiritual food, but information about your finances, and perhaps not last and certainly not least, but your physical well-being. So we want to plant this seed in really good soils. And then out of that, you can determine what your lifestyle is going to be in the coming days. What's in our little Fix-It kit? I want to propose to you a couple of very interesting elements that as we begin to see the process of living within the plant world, there are phenols and phenylpropanoids, and these are really incredible healing things. The reason I bring this up at this particular point is we live in a very, very emotional world. And if we could find some mechanism in which we could maybe repair damaged DNA, in other words, hit the reset button in your life, in your own physiology. Well, all at once, there's this availability to us called monoterpenes and sesquiterpenes, and within this framework of essential oils, these are the epitome of the defense system of the plant. Now, with that, we need to clean the receptor sites off of the cell, and this can be done with alcohols or phenols. So we have found a very, very, very structurally sound approach with evidence that's mind-boggling in terms of dealing with the cell, resetting it so that maybe you've repaired damaged DNA. And maybe there's some forgiveness in this mechanically within your own body. That's where we want to go. The importance here is the sizing of the molecule, because if we can penetrate the blood-brain barrier with molecules, the AMA has even said that we can deal with so many of these diseases, such as Alzheimer's disease and even Lou Gehrig's disease. These are autoimmune diseases, and I can tell you right now that hope has got to be of interest to a number of people. The difference between life and non-life is DNA. And so many of us are taking foods that have no DNA. It's been so processed, it has been so killed that you're just eating something for volume. Whereas if you eat foods that have a measured DNA, that information is alive. The next thing you know, it's very, very clever. It knows exactly where to go in your body and repair the damage. Put the nutrients in your body that will feed it and sustain it. The body is composed of 100 trillion cells. And if you could imagine cleaning these cells, the operation, and it is said that each and every cell in your body has a memory of 6 gigabytes. So this is language that I really don't understand, but I think it's quite a bit, because every cell in your body is a small town, and it has an operating system. We feed it, we're going to get better, we're going to stay healthy, we're going to raise that wonderful feeling of living a good life. What I've demonstrated here is simply in a very, very easy way, is I sprout. Now imagine the seeds that you see at the top of this. They're a breakfast that I build. They're all organic, but you see within the seed there are essential oils, or fatty acids, I should say, that are the nutrients for that seed to grow. And the crazy thing about seeds is one seed literally produces on an average of 100 seeds from the plant itself. So there's enough essential fat in that seed to grow it. And in that first 4 or 5 days, as you can see here, that the sprouting goes on, and if you could harvest that, you are harvesting a substance that is thoroughly potent. Now, to elevate that to the next one, we might find that within that plant, there are defense mechanisms that your body is craving. And I've demonstrated it here with the sprouting. As you can see, I've got beans, and I simply went to the store and bought regular seeds, but there's some of that stuff that's not growing. And you'll notice that it's the polished rice. There is nothing in that that is alive. So the question that I have of you is, why would you put it into your body? Except you're hungry. So the idea here is to find something that's alive that you can put into your body that acts as a nutrient. Along with that, let's just talk about the frequencies. You see, life has frequencies. Your body is made up of meridians. It's made up of electricity. So what we have found in good science, or bad science, whichever way you want to look at it, is there are frequencies that the body functions in that's healthy. So if we can keep the body somewhere in that 70 range of megahertz, your body is healthy. Where what we find, though, is when the body begins to become diseased, it drops in megahertz speed to about 55, where we start getting our colds and things of that nature. All at once, Candida sets in at about 55 megahertz. These are measured studies. Crazy as it might seem, the megahertz found in a cancer environment is in the 40s. So it would be logical that if we're fighting these diseases, that if we could find something to increase the megahertz of the body, it would maybe eliminate the environment that these diseases live in. And that's available to us through our food sources as long as they're alive. If they're not alive, these frequencies go down and disease sets in. This is a before and after. You know, the aging process and the disease process seem to go hand in hand. Keeping in mind that the body beats at the heart rate of your body is about 100,000 beats every 24 hours, assuming your heart rate is about 60. So you see a couple of pictures of ladies that in my day were just absolutely the gorgeous things of the time. Brigitte Bardot, as you can see, she aged in a very unseemingly way. And then my other one, which is probably my most favorite, is Sophia Loren. And she's in her late 70s, as is Brigitte Bardot. One of them really took incredible care of their body. So these are the things that we really want to demonstrate to you with care of your skin, your inner sides, you see, because the aging process begins on the inside, as does the healing. So if we want to pursue this, you need to be paying attention of your health, what you put in your body, and let's go from there. This is a simple picture of what weight does to the human being. You know, considering sugar in the blood. If you're 170 pounds, you've got room for about 7 grams of glucose or sugar in the blood at any one time. Here's the crazies. If you use sugar and caffeine as a stimulant for energy, and you consume something that's got 15 to 20 grams of sugar in it, well, your body will only handle 7 grams, so the rest of that goes someplace. And actually, about it's a 50-50 split. A great deal of it comes back through the liver and redistributed viscerally around the organs and then around the belly, exactly where you don't want it, in the form of fat. Fat has a number of reasons for it. One, it's a place to store toxins. It's also a place to create an enormous amount of energy in the form of ATP. So there's a reason that the body treats it like this. You just need to know that if you treat your body correctly, it will burn that, and then you won't be dealing with some of the issues that are direct relationship to obesity. One of the things that we really need to understand is a thing called vasodilation. And vasodilation is, just imagine your arteries pulsating. And if they pulsate and get bigger and thinner, we can get nutrients through that wall and into the cell much better. But as you begin to collect plaque on the arteries, they stiffen and they will not expand. And the possibility then increases your heart rate, increases blood pressure. So if we could understand that and then just look to certain elements such as nitric oxide, which was found some years ago, and it is called the miracle molecule, in that it causes the arteries, the capillaries, to literally expand. And if you get expansion and you get blood flow through this, then the obvious is that you would lower your blood pressure. But that is very dependent, again, on what you're eating on the other side. This whole thing that we're talking about, you literally have to pay attention to your diet. The things that we're discussing are increasing the effectiveness of the nutrient along with increasing the capacity of the arteries, which is the main thing that we're trying to do in your body. So if you could understand that and get a source for it, the difference between looking forward to a possible heart attack or stroke or any one of those devastating diseases, it might be of value to look at this form of diet. So where are we with this whole thing now that we've discussed the blood? Of all of the organs in the body that has an effect on every other organ is, of course, the liver. The liver is principal, it cleans the blood. It cleans all of the toxins. There's 500 different chemical reactions taking place in the liver. If you're not cleaning the liver, then all at once, all of that debris that's going through there is redeposited back into tissue. And that's where you get all of these hideous diseases pertaining to the autoimmune diseases. So our concept, how we built our product, was taking into consideration that if you have a clean liver, then probably have a clean brain. If you have a clean brain, clean tissue, clean heart, you function better. You're more efficient. You need less food to eat, particularly if that food is dense. So what takes place with this thing is all at once, if you clog up the liver, you can see that it shrinks. In fact, it shrinks quite substantially. And right now, today, in America, our teenage boys, because of the sugar consumption that they have, 48% of them are dealing with non-alcoholic liver damage, fatty liver damage. They don't even know that their liver is sick. They are on a pathway to some devastating diseases simply because we're looking at our kids and serving them pop because that's a stimulant, keeps them going, and we're missing the whole thing with incorrect food. Think about what if we put red beets in here. It has natural cleaning elements that cleans it every minute of the day as your blood goes through it and is stored and clean in there. We call our product Nefesh. It means the passion of the body is in the blood. So our attitude, let's clean the blood. If the blood is clean, you're probably pretty healthy. These are just some pictures of the digestive tract. All at once we've recognized in science that 95% of the diseases that we're living with today really begin in the digestive system. So as you look at this thing that is so important to your elimination system, if it's clogged up because of the processed foods that you're currently eating, there's evidence. Dr. Candace Pert, writing in Molecules of Emotion, describes the very fact that depression is directly related to the digestive tract. We want to put in probiotics. All of the things will get this stuff out of your system, these toxins. Pay attention to this, because as we go, not only will you have the possibility of perhaps losing some weight because of this, not even thinking about the 15 to 25 pounds of fecal matter that you have in your body at any one time. I think John Wayne, it was said that he had 70 pounds. I don't know that to be true. I've only heard it. But think about that, and then we've also been able to find that when your digestive tract is functioning, people lose weight. It's a very good place to start. Our product is a very simple one. The red beets are loaded with nutrients, antioxidants, minerals in organic form. In fact, I think as you begin to understand this organic conversation, not only will you appreciate it from the fact that there is more energy from it, a cleaner energy, but there's more health from it. So we started with red beets to get the nitric oxide and the minerals. Along with that, because obesity is such an issue in the United States, we found this wonderful thing called sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are one of those interesting carbohydrates that actually lowers the glycemic index. And along with that, instead of doing a weight management from a calories in, calories out mindset, we thought that we would address the hormonal issue adiponectin and the ghrelin and the leptin. If we could control those, their satiety rate will go up, you eat less, we convince the body that you're going to take care of it, and the next thing you know, we begin to burn that fat around your waist. Get rid of that. Well, if you're going to do that, your liver has to be in good shape to be clean, because it's going to start taking toxins that it really wasn't ready for. One of the most interesting elements that I found is hemp protein. I've personally been using hemp seeds for 15 years. They're an incredible source of quality protein, plus omega-3, 6, and 9 oils. So we're getting all of that in one product. And then I believe the find of the century is goat whey. Goat is so interesting. We get our probiotics from it. We get our electrolytes from it. The fat molecules are so small that they do not have to be homogenized. Fat is an incredible source of energy in forms of ATP. So you can see that we've given you a product that is designed to be very, very efficient, clean your body out, and you'll rest in a lot better. The goat whey is incredible because, just to add a little bit to it, there's interesting elements in here that produce glutathione, and that is one of the most important antioxidants that we have available to us. Cleans the cell, begins to get the cell junk out of that cell and move it along and eliminate from your body. I would like to do this thing just kind of talking about monies. You know, as you go to the grocery store, I don't think there's many of us that really feel that the stuff that we're trying to buy in the groceries are there. We're trying to buy foods for energy and performance. And we wind up buying things that look good rather than give us performance. So if that is the case, and you know that the nutrients aren't in there because of the way they're harvested, the way they're shipped to us, the way they're delivered, then we go to the vitamin aisles and we buy our vitamins and minerals all in organic form, to be truthful. And secondly, the vitamins are made from coal tar. Think about that. That is one of the most toxic elements that you can put in your body. So if you don't get your energy from that, you're over here to the cafes buying your lattes and your heavy-duty caffeine with sugar, because the body will not function without the energy. With that said, a Stanford study comes out and says that the average human being averages 222 pounds of red meat per year. Now, that's an awful lot of meat. And being born and raised on a farm, that was the old American diet, potatoes and meat, so on and so forth. And you look at the diseases that we are currently living in. If we could reduce that in half, which I find it very easy to do. I did it, and the end result is just phenomenal. Secondly, the average person is consuming 50 gallons of soda soft drinks per year per individual. All we have to do is deal with these numbers, and you would find that trading that kind of stuff for our product will not only save you money right there, but it will probably have a very healthy effect on your system. From a marketing viewpoint, we believe that money is a very, very important aspect of your future. And it's with that, just to build a target market right now, out of 1,000 people in the United States, at the age of 60, only one is free of pharmaceuticals. That's a nasty, nasty indictment, if you will. So our market is huge. People are looking to say, how can I get out of this pharmaceutical side? Well, you've got to get healthy. You've got to get your body. It's your responsibility to take care of your body. We just want to be that part that offers you some help. If it's handy for you to use our product,